Well, hello and welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today. Most of you know me. My name is Deborah Burton, and I'll be your host and your moderator for today's TTT. And I just want to thank you because this was a invitation only TTT for our training and instructor partners out there that have been out there delivering DASA DevOps fundamentals. Once again, you're leading the edge and pushing the envelope with getting ready for DASA Practitioner. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your dedication. And thank you for helping DASA become the organization that she wants to be. So I am truly happy today because I'm getting the opportunity to work with what I always refer to as my dream team. And this is our content development team, part of the team that have actually gone out and built the DASA practitioner course. I think the most relevant thing I can say is our practitioner course is built by practitioners for practitioners. So you are in really good hands today. And what I'd like to do is, because I'm joined by Gwendolyn Brink, who is a senior consultant at Quentin Wellington Redwood, and Teo Gertz, who is a senior consultant at Xavier. Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Deborah.
So I would love it for you two to just take a couple minutes and introduce yourselves to the team. Gwendolyn, why don't you go first?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Deborah. I'm very happy to be here as well. So welcome from my side as well. Good evening, good morning. I'm a senior consultant at Quint Wellington Redwood. I'm working there for 1.5 years now, and I'm really honored and very happy that I participated in this DevOps practitioner course. It was very great to have and to create this this module and this course. Before I worked at Quint, I was working 10 years in one of the biggest Dutch financial institutions. So as Deborah said, it's really my practical knowledge that I use to create this DevOps practitioner course. And my motto is always creating the high performing teams, but by also searching for people's own purposes and connecting this to the team goal, and then in the end to the organizational goal. So thank you, Deborah.
Thanks, Gwendolyn. And Teo.
Hello, everybody. I'm Theo Gerrits, now almost 10 years with Xavier. I have approximately 25 years of experience in mostly in IT, either or lean and agile consulting. I did all sorts of roles in IT, and actually, when Xavier asked me to join them, it was to connect business with IT, which is then and now still an important thing to think about and to align. And almost immediately, I became what we call now an agile coach. I also do lean coaching, so I'm doing this for approximately 10 years now. And the interesting thing is that I started with building, programs and systems, and now it feels like that I'm building teams or organizations, which is of course a different subject, but on the other hand, it's creating systems running smoothly, and that's what I like and what I'm happy about. And one of the things I always say is, if it's not fun, then it's probably not DevOps or Agile. So I hope this will be fun to you, and good luck with the next 2.5 hours.
Great, thank you for that. So let me quickly take you through our agenda. It is an action-packed agenda in terms of the amount of time that we're going to try to cover a lot of material in a short period of time, I should say. Also, be aware that we will have a 10-minute break when we get around the module section. So we will do a break where everyone can go out and grab a coffee or some water, or, just take a breather. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time talking to you about the objectives of the TTT as well as the instructor requirements. I don't think I need to spend a whole lot of time talking to you about what is the DevOps Azure Skills Association. I'm sure you know that, but there might be one or two people that might be interested in hearing me do a really short overview. From there, I'm turning it over to the experts. So Gwendolyn and Dale will take you through the actual TTT. They're going to cover the competence model, training materials, course overview, modules, exam, course delivery. Then they're going to share some of their own personal tips and tricks about delivering the course, and there will be time for Q&A. And what I'd like to ask you to do to support that, as you have questions as we're going through this material, just place them in the chat. And then when we get to the Q&A section, we will make sure we have time to address those. So let's get started. So what are the objectives of the TTT? Well, again, what's important for you as instructors and trainers of this new practitioner course is that you understand how to use the components. And that's why we're going to actually walk you through the training components, walk you through some of the exercises so you understand what it looks like and how it works. The team is going to give you a really good in-depth review of the course syllabus and the exam. We want to be able to have you prepared for the exam by understanding the instructor requirements and what you need to do in order to be successful. And again, I talked about those tips and tricks. So we'll get to that. And we're looking forward for this to be a kind of a upbeat, informational, 2.5 hours of your time where when you're finished with this, you'll say, boy, am I glad I joined the DASA team to get this TTT. So let me talk to you about the instructor requirements. Well, the first requirement to become accredited for DASA practitioner is to attend this TTT. So congratulations. So glad that you're here. The other thing that you need to know as a trainer, we need you to pass the DevOps practitioner exam by 70%. That's 10% higher than the percentage for the students taking it or the learners taking it. So pay close attention to the things we're going to talk about today. Make sure that you study as you prepare for that exam. The team will tell you it's not a walk-away exam. You need to know, you need to be prepared. So keep that in mind. Afterwards, what you'll do is you'll receive your DevOps practitioner certificate. Now, this is important for you to understand. There's no specific trainer registration or trainer accreditation. What we expect our training partners to do who deliver the course is ensure that your trainers meet the requirements needed to deploy that training. It's also a benefit to have experience in delivering other training courses or have some extended practical experience in other IT domains. If you've had some, background in development or in operations, that's always a plus. For those of you that are talking to other people on your teams that are interested in becoming DASA training partners, or other organizations that are interested in becoming DASA training partners, it's a simple process. All they need to do is go to our website, fill out the form, select a courseware partner. There's an annual US dollar fee of $50, and after that they will be contacted by their courseware partner and the process will be put in place. So those are the accreditation processes for instructors. Now, a little bit about DASA, and I don't want to spend a lot of time here. I think the important thing to know is DASA was created as an open association to build and support the development of high-performance IT organizations. And the reason this is important is that there's a new way of IT working. If you think about the last 20 years, IT has worked in really silo-based, subject matter expert-based groups or teams. This new way of working is looking at different skills and different knowledge. And that's what DASA sets out to do. Right now, there's so many enterprise organizations out there that are looking at how can they take advantage of things like mobility, cloud computing, how can they be more effective, how can they do the things that they see Spotify or Netflix or Amazon doing. And that's why there's a whole new set of skills that are needed. And that's what DASA tries to do and works to promote in the industry. So being a members-driven organization, we're about building this market, and we're about helping organizations realize their transformational journeys. So we do that by things like the TTTs and the webinars and the conferences we attend and the forerunners and training partners and courseware partners. Being a members-driven organization is really in our DNA. And, I stop with that just to say, we're so pleased and proud that you're helping us in this journey. Now, with that, I'm going to actually turn it over to Gwendolyn and to Teo. I need to make sure that Gwendolyn has the ability to move the slides, and I think you do. Gwendolyn, just give me a second because there's a poll question coming up.
Yes.
And I want to launch that because, what we're really interested is understanding a bit about you. So share with us about your company, your organization. Are you a training company? Are you a consulting company? Do you do training and consulting? Are you an independent instructor? Or do you do something else, like maybe be a software company? Not sure. Okay, the results are coming in. I'm going to give you one more second. If you haven't voted, vote now, vote now. Okay, let me close the poll and share the results. Take a look, Gwendolyn, Teo. 78% are training and consulting companies, and the other are 22% are training companies.
So they're colleagues in the world.
You have you both have colleagues in the world, both coming from training and consulting companies yourself. Great. Okay, so with that, let me turn it over to you, Gwendolyn.
Thank you, and I will give the word to Theo, who will do the competence.
All right, thank you. So let's talk a little bit about the competence model for you who don't know it. Probably you've seen it before, at least on the website. DASA has thought of 12 competence areas, knowledge areas and skills areas, 12 separate ones that we think are important for any DevOps practitioner or any DevOps engineer, or how you would call them, in a DevOps team. And the DevOps Fundamentals course gives attention to all of them. Now, you might expect that the practitioner course will build upon that, but I will be coming soon to what exactly is in the practitioner course. So we have the knowledge areas, we've got the skills areas. In DASA, we have defined that we want people that are working in a DevOps environment should know about all these areas, at least on a knowledge level, and they should be a practitioner. So they should be in the DASA terminology. I'll go forward a slide, another slide. They should be proficient, level 3, in the skills areas. And the skills areas are these ones: courage, team building, DevOps leadership, and continuous improvement. And these have all to do with attitude, with behavior, with the people side of doing DevOps development and operations, of course. Now, as I said, what you would expect in the practitioner course is that we would level up all these areas to level 3 proficient. But then this course would be at least 5 days long, so that's much too long to give a condensed course and to keep you focused on the content. So what we did is we actually want everybody to get to the proficient level in the DevOps practitioner course on the skills areas. because in the end you can get knowledge and experience on all subjects by reading or by doing, but you need something extra on the skill and behavior level, and that's what we provide in the DevOps Practitioner course. So courage, team building, DevOps leadership, and continuous improvement we are going in depth into these subjects in the Practitioner course. And I want to mention that since a few months, the Fundamentals course is also available as an e-learning course in 24 hours. So that's something that you might not have known yet. Then, if we're looking further, now let's go back. There are also in the making 3 expert modules. Where some people in a DevOps environment can get an even higher level of expertise and knowledge, but then on a specialized area such as enable and skill, which is more even more in depth on the agile and lean DevOps behaviors. Specify and verify is more on the requirements and testing skills, and create and deliver its craftsmanship and development type of skills. So these are in the making and build upon the level that we want you to have from the Practitioner course. So one of the main reasons why DASA is different than other of like us organizations is that we want to focus on T-shaped skills. So we don't provide courses for, say, a DevOps tester or a DevOps operational guy. No, we think it's essential that we have teams working together where everybody at least understands somewhat what other team members are doing and can help with that work. And so we want T-shaped skills in the sense, okay, maybe you have a specialization, maybe you're very good in one area, but you can do at least 2 or 3 other things with maybe a little bit less depth, but still you know what to do and you can help out where needed. And we will come back to that in a later stage. This is a very important aspect of DevOps working. You should be at home at more than one type of skill.
So thank you, Theo. I will go into the training materials. And first of all, I would like to start with giving an overview of what kind of course material we have. It is similar like the DevOps Fundamentals. We have 2 different sets. First of all, one set is for the instructor. It is a course book, but then including instructor guides and also instructor notes. So you have extra information that you can use during the training with some tips and tricks that you can use during the exercises. For example, there will also be some exercises that need some preparation, not really much preparation, but some little steps. In one of the exercises, you need, for example, some cards and a sheet that need to be printed, and you will find these instructions in this course book for the instructor. Then secondly, there is a learner book. It is the same course book, but then focused on the leader of a learner, and this can be an ebook or it can be a printed version. So please be aware that when you give this training, you know the instructor notes, and so that you are prepared and that you can use them as well as a added value during the course. Like Theo just told us, the DevOps Practitioner is created around the skills areas. So we have 1 module per skill area. So we have the team building, leadership, courage, and continuous improvement. And we added an extra module, which is called value. We thought it is such an important topic that it needs a separate module, so we can explain a little bit more about it, and we can use different examples and exercises for it. And that's also the main difference with other courses, and also the differences with the fundamentals course. There are so many exercises that we can help the participants with really gaining this knowledge and really practice with it. So that's one of the main goals we wanted to achieve with this practitioner course. Let me take you through the course agenda. There is a agenda made. It is, of course, a proposed agenda. However, if you can see, it is a very tight schedule, and there are very long, intensive training days. So as a trainer, please be aware that you keep track of time, and that you make maybe also some choices, that you extend some of the exercises or that you shorten it a bit. Just take a look, please, at the agenda beforehand and keep track of it, because as you can see, if we go to the next day as well, yes, it is in total 16 hours of information. So very intense, but very worthwhile, and a lot of information. Excuse me for that. So there's a lot of information for in this course, and it is the 16 hours is excluding the exam. So please be aware of that. Then we will take to the next step. It's the audience. The audience that are the professionals that are involved in IT. It's the same as with the fundamentals. However, as Deborah already told you, that you need to have the certificate of the fundamentals before. So you need to be a certified DevOps fundamentals before you can take part in this course. And with the audience that professionals involved in IT, I mean like the architects or operations managers, or product owners, DevOps engineers, that are all so roles that are all affected by DevOps working, DevOps teams. That could all be one of the interesting people that could take this course. Then this course, what is it really about? It is a 2-day course that is built around these 4 skill areas, and added with the module value. And it's really about the exercises. It's really about helping people to get the knowledge and also practice with this knowledge. It's not only the information, but it's really practicing and gaining and become better at it. So that's what we really try to do in this DevOps practitioner course.
Right. Thanks, Gwendolyn. Let's get a quick overview again of the course. So we are focusing on the skills areas. Again, courage, team building, DevOps, leadership, and continuous improvement. And what we want to do is build upon the knowledge that you gained in the fundamentals course, and practice with it as much as possible, so that you not only know about it but can feel it and can bring it out, be someone who can tell others about it and can explain others about how it works. And because the course is structured in the 4 modules about the skills areas plus the value module, we have 5 modules in total, excluding the starting module. So in total 6. And the value module is on the one hand a separate module, but on the other hand, value is permeating all the other values of all the other modules as well, because value. This is why we do it, the DevOps team, right? We all want to deliver better stuff with more quality and more valuable to our customer or our business. And yeah, to get those things very clear and practice with it, we thought a value module is useful to have. Let's look at the course objectives in general. So in summary, we want you to be able, not only as trainer but also the trainees, to be able to explain why these skills are so important for a DevOps environment and for a DevOps team. And we want them to be able to explain it, but we want them actually to be able to exhibit that behavior, so that they actually know how to behave in a DevOps way, in a positive, valuable, productive way. And this also, of course, includes, enabling trust, being open, being ready for some experimentation, taking some risks, also identifying in a positive or in a negative way what types of behavior are actually helping your team or are actually impeding your team. If you are more aware of them, then you can better take action upon them. So dysfunctions are also some of the topics that we talk about. And then, of course, somehow people want to know, okay, are you more or less DevOps in a certain sense? So we talk about maturity of teams and how to become even better at the DevOps world. So if you're looking at the second page of course objectives, one of the things I said before, so also fun and happiness and motivation are very important in team performance. So on the one hand, what we are trying to achieve is a high-performing team, but this is tightly correlated with having fun and being a motivated person in your team. If you're doing a better job, you will feel better. If you feel better, you will do a better job. So this is something that interacts with each other. And to get the right environment to feel happy and to be able to do excellent jobs, we also have lots of things to say about how leaders can actually improve and inspire the right environment for this kind of work and for this kind of motivation. So that's mainly what's talked about in the DevOps leadership module, and also built on the courage module, which talks more like about personal leadership. And of course, we have some practical tools to analyze things because facts are interesting. If you measure, then you know what to do. And if you analyze a problem, then you maybe can solve the problem and take it away. So those things are, of course, one of the objectives as well. Then the simple prerequisite to be a certified DevOps practitioner is first, you have to have the fundamental certificate. And then you will do this course and hopefully get a certificate as well. Now, it will be helpful for learners if they have some familiarity, if they have some experience with Agile, with Scrum, with Kanban, with Lean, something like that. Because that will, those people already have, seen something about what we are talking about and will take it to heart quicker. But it is not a, absolutely required requirement. And let's go to the modules.
Yes, more detail of the modules. Like Theo said, we have 6 modules. 5 which have really content, and the first, it's always in a course, the first module is like the introduction, The objective is, of course, to get to know each other and to show the participants how the course will look like, the look and feel of the ebook, and also what the agenda is and what to expect of the agenda and what to expect of the exam. It also, in the course introduction, you can use it as a trainer to show what kind of exercises there are. There are some group discussions, and there are also some other exercises that can be done in smaller groups that need sometimes a presentation or something. So in the course introduction, you can just show the learners, like in every training, how the training is built on and how the course book looks like. So that will bring me to module 2, which has a lot more content. It's the team building module, and this module focuses on designing and building teams. Team building is about collaboration, mutual accountability, also common purpose, and it's also very important to understand each other's point of view. If you want to be in a team, it's very good to understand each other well. And the last part of this module is about how to create effective teams with appropriate governance. So if you have more than one team, how do you governance that? How do you create a culture and a governance for these teams to perform well? Let me first start with the designing and building teams. The goal is to create high-performing teams, but you cannot be from today to tomorrow a high-performing team. You need to build this. And first of all, it starts with creating openness and create safety. That's the first layer you will need. It is all about trust. And then to go further up, you need to have shared norms and values. So about the understanding of each other's viewpoint and helping each other on how to create this team. So if you have these shared norms and values, then you can go to the next level, which will be commitment. You can give commitment as a team to your common goal. And if you have that, you can go to the next level, which will be the joint responsibility. You really feel responsible as a team for the result. So you will not pinpoint one, it was your fault or it was my fault. It's just the team responsibility to get the result. And then as last part, you will have the eventually the result. And this pyramid will is the Lencioni, is based on the Lencioni principle, so that you can explain that more to the learners. Then there are also 4 exercises in this module to exercise and to practice with these building and designing teams. And the first 3 of them are introducing a DevOps team. So some participants never experience a DevOps team, and then you can use this exercise to discuss about how does it feel to be in a team, or imagine if you are a DevOps engineer, what would you have? What do you want to have in this team? What do you need to be a good engineer? Secondly, another exercise is more focused about if you have these people in one room, or if you have these people in one team, it doesn't mean that they are a team already. You need to have a structure, and you need to have the number of people. You cannot have a team or a team of 20 people. So this exercise is about the discussion, what is a good team? How many people? What's the structure? And what do we need to be successful? And then you can link back to the Lencioni pyramid. The third exercise is self-organization. We always, in this new way of working, practice and preach that self-organizing is a great thing to have. But what is it? What do you want to organize yourself? But what do you need to have as rules and structures, and what kind of leadership, which will be also in the leadership module. But what do you need? So the third exercise will be then self-organization, and this will be a group discussion as well. So it will be advised, if you are the trainer, to have also a clear viewpoint on where do you want to steer the discussion, and if you know what kind of people you have in your classroom, you know what you want to get out of it. Then for the exercise number 4, I would like to give the word to Theo, which was the author of this wonderful exercise.
Right, thanks. So this is actually a simple actual design exercise where we present the learners with a simple technical situation, some kind of system architecture where we have a front end, a communication layer, and a back office layer. And we ask them, okay, this is the architecture that we have. These are the people that you somehow have to divide in teams. How would you do it? And so an actual exercise to what choices do you have, and what are the benefits and disadvantages and advantages of the choices that you make. Now, this goes for all exercises in the whole course. We have, of course, the content part of the exercise, but we also have the behavior part of the exercise. So, for example, if you're doing this exercise and one person is telling the others, okay, this is how you should do it, and let's present that, then you can talk about this behavior as well. Because why are the others not contributing to this team effort of doing this exercise? You can use those behaviors within your classroom to get everyone more aware of what is happening and how they can maybe behave differently in the future. This is a very nice exercise where you have actually two kind of opposite solutions, where one of the solutions is okay, we go for component teams, which are still multifunctional teams but working on the components of the architecture, or we are going for feature teams, what you call feature or product teams, which are actually able to deliver the whole working product with one team. And those two solutions are the extremes that you can talk about, and there are solutions in between as well. The all-important thing with all these exercises is, okay, there is no right or wrong, but there are advantages and disadvantages for the choices you make. And sometimes, in some contexts, a solution might be better than in other contexts. So make people aware of that, so that they actually understand what they are doing, and then you are getting the goals that we want to achieve. Let's go further. Now, the last part in the team building module is talking about governance. In practice, we get a lot of questions about how does governance work, and also very many remarks, at least in the Netherlands. Yes, but you talk about self-organization, but shouldn't they be self-governing teams? Teams that do everything themselves. Now, I don't like the word self-governing for two reasons. The simple reason is that for example, the Agile Manifesto, there's never any statement about self-governance, but there is a statement about self-organization. That's one. But who needs to follow the Agile Manifesto, you could say. But the second one, okay, we are all in organizations, in institutions, maybe in communities, and we have to somehow do things together. We have a common goal, or we have something to achieve for the larger picture. So you cannot do everything completely isolated from other teams or other people. So I like self-organization much better than self-governing. But that means, okay, where does the governance come from then? So how does governance work? How does governance work within teams? How does governance work with multiple teams? Or how do you even govern the cooperation from organization to organization? So those are the subjects of the last part of this module, where the first two have somewhat been covered in the fundamentals course as well, so we won't go into that in much detail. But the last part, the governing between organizations, is an interesting one, and we try to tackle that subject from a risk perspective. So which risk do you want to take as a client or as a provider of software or as a provider of a service, or as a supplier or consumer of the service? There are all kinds of discussions you could do about, okay, what risk do you want to take, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, and how do you divide those risks? And these discussions lead to different types of contracts, agile DevOps contracts that you could make with your partners. For example, you could make a fixed cost contract where you make a ceiling for the cost, and let's look at the possibilities within that cost ceiling. Or you could say, okay, we will work explicitly in very small iterations, for example, in sprints, and we buy every time we buy one sprint or two sprints, a short iteration. So you have a small investment, you see what you get. If it's okay, you go further. If it's not okay, you stop your project and do something else. So those kinds of solutions of working together in an agile way are explored in this section. And also there's an exercise, more context exercise, where you can say, okay, we want to achieve some goals. We want to have some feeling for how good we are, or how do we perform. And the exercise is about, okay, can we define KPIs that would actually work for us, key performance indicators that would actually work for us, and not be, bureaucratic numbers that everybody hates. And could we define some key goal indicators, KGIs, that would actually help us achieve our goals better? And our goals, I mean, my organization's goals. So those two subjects are talked about in depth in this part of the module. And by this exercise, again, you can focus on finding those KPIs and KGIs, but also how do people do this? And you talk about, and you can help them as well in their behavior in the exercise. So in summary, in team building, we do three things. We think about how to design teams. If we have the designs ready, what methods do you have in actually building them? So actually creating the physical teams. What criteria do you need for them? What is an optimal size? Those kinds of questions. And then we focus on the larger picture, the governance over teams, the governance between organizations, the risk distribution, the contract part, and for the people who think, okay, why are we talking about contracting in an agile way of working? It says customer collaboration over contract negotiation, but that doesn't mean that contracts aren't totally unimportant anymore. Contracts are needed, but they shouldn't drive us in the wrong direction of blaming each other, but they should help us in cooperating each other. And that's what we try to achieve in explaining what we do in team building module.
Then let's move to module number 3. This will be the module, the last module we will discuss before the coffee break. DevOps leadership, because we just talked about the building and designing teams. That's one thing. So if you have your team, you build it, you designed it, but then you need to have leadership as well. If you don't have leadership, and more specifically DevOps leadership, you will never get high-performing teams. Leadership is essential to create the right DevOps context for high-performing multifunctional teams. And we even believe that without the context and leadership, you cannot achieve these benefits of the DevOps way of working and thinking. So that means that DevOps leadership is a very important part in the whole culture. We have 4 aspects that we cover in the leadership, which means building the culture and being a servant leader. How do you become one? What does it entail? Creating purpose. Which way do you want to go? Or how do you, as a leader, steer your team, or what is necessary? And as last part, focus on success. Focus is also a very important aspect of the DevOps way of working. Then, if we start with the module, with the culture, you need to create the right surrounding for your team. It's what we call the agile soil, and special thanks to Maarten, who created these nice pictures. What we mean with agile soil, you need to have the right surrounding, but also to plant the right seeds. If you plant a seed and you will not give it water, or you will not remove any other plants in the surroundings, then they will not grow. They will not become nicely or nice trees. So as a leader, you will have to give space and also create the right culture for the team. They need to, but it will become more clear in the module Courage. You need to create this surrounding that the team feels safe. It's also linked to the lean principles. Show respect to your team, and also lead with humility, and also create a purpose. If there is no dot on the horizon, the team will never know which way to go. So this is a real, leaders need to learn this as well, because as I believe, it is really different than 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there were leaders. They were saying you have to go right, and everybody was going right. And when the leader said we have to go left, then everybody went left. But with DevOps and Agile, it doesn't work that way anymore. You really, as a leader, need to learn as well how to help the team and how to create this culture. This is also created in one of the exercises. It is called Important in Agile Soil. So you can use this as a trainer, as a group discussion. What will be soil optimizers, so to speak? How can you create the right culture? And that will make a nice bridge to the to developing the right ecosystem. As you can see here, if you have these seeds planted and you give them water, they will become nicely trees. But the other picture at the left, you can also have traffic jams. I always relate this to the nice story of Prof. Sumatra Koshal. He is the author of The Smell of the Place, and it is about the influence that culture and context has on performance, and also on the role of leadership. Leadership plays a big role in facilitating performance or not. So if you imagine that you walk outside at the 1st of May, it really depends on how you feel and how you can grow. If you walk outside in a forest, you look around and you feel at ease, and you can really you can be inspired. But on the other hand, you can also walk outside in a very big city. It's raining. You don't feel very well. So it's the same day, it's the same time, and you're the same person, but you feel differently. So it's really important that the surrounding, which is created in this case by the leaders, is created for you and that you can grow the best way. So it's better to create this forest for your team than create the traffic jam for your team. And only when you can create a high performance culture, which has all these aspects in it. So quality first, you have continuous improvement, which will be in one of the coming modules. Taking responsibility, but also, which is very important, is trust. Only when there is trust, you can plant the seeds and make them the trees. And only then you will be a high performing team, and in the end, a high performing organization.
Right, and I think that the first step here is really with management. So we have gone too far in slides. Yeah, let's go back a bit. Yeah, thank you. And so what's obvious is that all these terms that are around the picture with the steps is, you know, everybody understands and believes that these are important for a good environment and for an environment where teams can be, you know, in optimal form. But I think that this module says that, you know, the leaders of the organization, whether you call them management or whatever, they should always make the first step. The first step in giving some trust to someone who can do something by itself. So what's the example that Gwendolyn gave? Okay, we don't say go right or go left, or we say more like, I want to reach a certain destination, say New York, and figure out yourself whether we should go right or left. You know best. You are in the car, or you know how to drive the car. Therefore, I can trust you to make the right decision to go right or left. And you can go further, you know, if we provide the means of measuring the fuel level, and if I ask the team, okay, if you would monitor the fuel level, and if the fuel level is low, then you can refuel. So I don't have to ask or command this, but you know this yourself, so you can do this yourself as well. Those are all kinds of steps that you can take separately and after each other to build upon the tasks that the team can do themselves and to let them organize even more about the work themselves. But still, the leader always has to do something, and we think that the leader in essence has to do two things. First, they have to provide direction and guidance. So there are lots of practical things that we can do in this module. So we talk about, okay, how can you provide in a motivating way, in a way that really sticks what you want to achieve. And the way we want to do that is by storytelling. That's one of the exercises that we have. So we tell, okay, when you want to give a entertaining and sticking story, you have to do it in this and this and this way. Then we will practice that on a example vision. And so, okay, this is my vision, tell a good story about it and get people along. Then we have a group discussion, a workshop-like exercise about, okay, what do you think is inspiring in leadership? What do you need as a team member, or maybe you are a manager? What do you think is inspiring your people on the work floor? And that we, again, put into practice in writing down a kind of leadership manifesto, which is actually, okay, we will focus more on something than on something else. You will see an example in the next slide. So the other thing that we have talked about a little bit is we mentioned high-performing teams a couple of times. So what do we understand by We certainly understand by that multifunctional teams. So people that have lots of skills that can deliver some product or some service. So that's actually by definition it's better than a group of people doing analysis, or a group of people doing development, or a group of people doing operational stuff. But then if we're thinking about multifunctional teams, then we immediately also can think about, okay, is this going to work? How can they help each other? How can we get the maximum amount of output of these teams? And even better, and I go to the next slide now, how can I maximize the outcome? What I mean by outcome is the value that the team provides. How can we maximize that? And maybe some of you know about this. If you have been in a team that actually delivers directly value to your business or to end customers, this can be so rewarding and so much fun, and so much you can get so proud of this that it actually stimulates you to do even better the next time. So I've had the luck of being in such a team a number of times, not once, but more than once. And I have friends from 20 years ago from those teams, and we still see each other because it was so much fun and we were so proud of what we did that we're still seeing each other. So that's one aspect where you maybe can recognize, wait a minute, this is a team that has high cohesion, that is really in synchrony, doing things together and delivering value in the best possible way. So that's what we seek when we talk about high performing teams. And in this module, we exclusively talk, okay, what should a leader do to create the optimal environment so that a team can actually become a high performing team, so that it grows to its full potential. And don't underestimate the potential of people. So some people say, okay, this bunch of people, fire them because they will never do anything that's really interesting. But watch out, because I have seen lots of examples where people that were written off became actually, really nice team members that were able to learn lots of stuff that we didn't expect them to do, and were really contributing to the team effort, and therefore helping the team becoming high performing and delivering lots of stuff. And you can stimulate that as a leader. That's what this module is about. So the leader should give focus, should give direction. That's one thing. The other thing is the leader should focus also on, the bad things that impede the teams, the impediments, the problems, the tools that are not sufficient. Maybe they need knowledge. Maybe they need extra help from outside. All kinds of things that could improve the environment to get a team even more better than they are before. And that's the other aspect that a leader should do. So one, giving direction. Two, removing impediments. And so those two are the most important things that leaders should do, and that's what we focus on in this module. And when you are trying to emphasize, or to summarize that the things that you want to emphasize in your leadership work, you can summarize it like what you're seeing here in the picture. We value outcome over output. So we don't want necessarily have lots of production, but we definitely want production that is valuable to our customers. Or we don't want necessarily to be every individual to have success, but we do want that the team will be successful. So helping each other, cooperating, having team events, stimulating synergy, etc. Those are the things that we really steer upon, and that we want to see. So you can summarize that in a kind of manifestos like here. There are other examples in the instructor notes. I think that's enough about the DevOps leadership module. So in summary, as I said, we want to create the right environment for the DevOps people so that they will gain their full potential. So think in terms of potential. What can I do to let people grow to their full potential? And full potential is much more than you might expect. That's the interesting thing here. What we need by that is we need facts, transparency, but we also need feedback loops. Feedback loops were covered extensively in the fundamentals training, and we talk about it here as well. And we will go to actual feedback exercises also in the courage module, which is more about personal leadership. Then, of course, what we said before. So, what do leaders need to do to help and influence people and inspire people? One big aspect is that it's important to accept failure. Not everything goes always right. It's not nice to say, but this is reality. This is what the world we live in. And certainly, if you are doing some experimentation, if you're doing something new, you actually don't know upfront what will be the good stuff and what will be the wrong moves to take. So you have to try something to know whether it fails or whether it succeeds. So accept this and go on and learn from these failures. That's one of the things that you should do as a leader. As I said, you need to communicate your vision and your purpose. I don't know if you know the movie of Dan Pink, which describes what motivates people: purpose, mastery, and autonomy. Purpose is the first. What we people like is that we know why we are doing things, why it makes sense to do things, who will benefit from it. Actually, that there is some benefit from what we are doing. That's what we like, and as a leader, you can define and sharpen that purpose. So that's an important thing. And then the more basic thing is, okay, if we know what we are doing, we want to know: are we doing well? Can we do better? So we need some things to measure and to present as well. And this also gives again an atmosphere of openness and transparency, because everybody knows what the status is, what could be improved, and everybody will be in the helping mode and in the supporting mode to get this achieved as soon as possible. Right. So we talked about DevOps leadership, more like the perspective from the leaders, from the management side of leadership. But we also really want to emphasize personal leadership. So taking initiative, being proactive, taking ownership for your job or for the results that your team should deliver, etc., etc. And for that, you definitely need courage, and maybe much more than you would think, because there are all kinds of situations that we might be reluctant to say exactly what we think, or we might be reluctant to give feedback, to have criticisms actually to someone else, maybe to your boss, or to actually point out faults in a process that somebody else designed, or faults in whatever what. You actually need courage to say those things and to do something about it. You also need courage to just take risks, and you do need to take risks. Otherwise, you will just do what you did before, because that's your comfort zone. That's what you know. That's what we always did. But then you will never improve. So you have to do some things differently, which is taking a little bit of risk, and you have the courage to do that. So this module is totally only about courage and all the aspects of that. Now, one of the things to do almost immediately in this module is doing an exercise where you can actually bring people a little bit, not much, but a little bit out of their comfort zone. And we do this by a simple exercise where we tell people to say something, and then you pick some emotion and you emphasize that emotion in the same sentence, or you paraphrase it to mean something like that, but with more emotion in it. And then the next person says it with even more emotion, etc., etc., and until it becomes, you know, a little bit embarrassing, a little bit over the top, just to experience that even giving a message can be, you know, can have courageous aspects to actually daring to go beyond your comfort zone and to tell something in a very hefty way. And you can go as far as you like, of course, with this type of exercises, and also so as far as, you know, as you deem right for your audience. By the way, we got a question about the duration of this this training of 2 days, which seems a little bit short, and in somehow we agree in this aspect, because we actually wanted to have, you know, maybe 3 days for this whole package of knowledge and experiences. On the other hand, we put in so many exercises that you can actually choose which you want to do and which not. The exercises are you know, for the people to experience what we're trying to tell them. But of course, in the exam, you can't ask questions about, okay, in this and this exercise, you experienced this and this. What do you think about it? That's not how the exam is set up. It's a multiple choice exam. We will talk about it later. So in the exam, you should focus, you should know that the people will be asked knowledge questions and understanding questions. People have to be able to interpret and understand certain situations and give the right answers to them. So you can skip or shorten exercises to shorten the time that you need to do this course. So that's one advice that you can take. Don't skip content, but you can skip some exercises, which if you got a time constraint. Right. If you look at the courage and when courageous behavior becomes apparent, there's a kind of conflict which is shown in the picture on the right in this slide, that we actually want courageous behavior in a safe environment, because then people can be creative, then the innovation can happen. So that's more or less obvious to most people. But the problem is, if you don't have a safe environment, it's very difficult to act behavior in a courageous way, even if you stimulate it. So even if you are in the fear compartment in this picture, you can tell people, and I expect from you that you will be a very proactive person, and that you will do what is necessary to get the task done. Okay, so be courageous and tell what you want to, what you need. But the atmosphere is a fear, is an atmosphere of fear. So people will probably not be as courageous as you want them to be, and they will stay in the fear quadrant and not go to the innovation side. So you have, as a leader, as a manager, you have to do something as well. You have to guide people to the safe place and urge courageous behavior. Then you'll get innovation. So that's one aspect that we talk about in the module. And if we look at the if you look at the parts of this module, so we have one thing, okay, what can we do as an individual, but also as a manager, to build courage? And what do we need from people in the way of different behavior and different thinking? And those aspects are built upon, again, in theory, but also in exercises. So one of the aspects of courage is that we want to have want to know where we stand. And if we know where we stand, or even better, if we know who we are, if we know what do we believe, then you are close to what we talked about before the break, to what purpose do I have? What purpose do I have personally? What purpose does my team have? What purpose does my team have in this organization? What purpose does my organization have in the larger picture? So those questions are, if you see in the picture and in the slides, are much more fundamental than just saying, okay, where am I physically, and what am I doing physically? You know, those are basic questions. You can ask those questions as well, and it will help you define what you're doing. But it is much more fundamental to think about, okay, why am I doing things? What do I believe, and what do I stand for? So if you can touch that as a person, but also as a leader, you can influence people in the right direction and let them do, you know, amazing things that you didn't expect them before. We need these amazing things. We need this attitude, because what I said before, we need people to be able to experiment, to dare to experiment. We need people to be able to give feedback. We need people to say their own opinion, to state their own opinion against, you know, opinions that seem to be, you know, commonplace and believed by everyone, etc., etc. And this aspect of the new way of working, and certainly that we want to promote in the DevOps way of working, is summarized with courage. And to do exercises with that, we have lots of, you know, really practical exercises that do something with courage. I already told you about the exercise of stepping out of your comfort zone. We tell some theory about this Bateson period that you show here. Then we ask people, okay, where do you stand in your team, in your organization, or in your family, or whatever context you want to take? Where do you stand? How do you plot yourself on this pyramid? And let people really think about it. Let them be aware of, you know, that you can actually ask these questions for yourself, but also from your teammates. Then we say, okay, what we need in this fast changing world is to be able to react if something unexpected happens. And so there could be all kinds of things that happen that don't fit the current way of working, the current way of thinking. So how do we react to that? And that's what we call resilience. How resilient are we? How much are we able to react to these changing circumstances? And we do an exercise on that. We take a typical web store case, a bookstore, and we let people think about, okay, what could happen that unexpectedly that would trigger a change in this bookstore, and how should the bookstore respond? So just to create awareness about, okay, all kinds of things can happen. How should you respond, or how could you respond? And we will build on that and talk about, okay, what will happen then. There's also, of course, again, a part that says, okay, when things go wrong, when we fail, when things don't go as we expected them to go, how do you deal with that? And so how to deal with failure. This is a very important aspect of any way of working, but, you know, explicitly defined in DevOps. So are we going to blame people, or are we going to solve the problem? That's actually, so what we say here is no blame, no mercy. So we don't want to blame people, but we don't want any mercy for problems that need to be solved. And so it's not a personal approach, it's the problem-solving approach. That's what we want to emphasize. Then we're going to the thinking differently, the second part of the module. And how can you stimulate that? That's actually the content of that module. So one thing is, can we actually encourage, can we create the right environment for critical thinking? And yes, you can. For example, to give somebody the explicit intention of disagreeing with the rest of the group. And say, what is this kind of strange behavior? But it's actually a very old practice from the Talmud of the old Jewish people, who said, okay, if we are in a council or in a group of decision makers, and we might be embarrassed to speak against an important leader or speak against your best friend, then we can solve this by actually appointing one of the council members who has to be in disagreement with all the other ones, per definition, which allows people to actually think about the other view and the other aspects of the problem as well, because somebody has to speak out and defend that standpoint. So that's an interesting way of actually stimulating thinking differently than everybody else. You can also stimulate it by creating explicit events where this behavior is stimulated. For example, you know, hackathons or innovation days or something like that. And so, unfortunately, this takes time, but this time is a good investment, because if you don't invest in innovation and in improvement, then in the end you will not only not improve, but you will actually deteriorate. I always give the example of the axeman with who is chopping wood with an axe. If this axeman doesn't sharpen his axe now and then, it will go blunt, and he will not be able to cut as much wood as before. So he should take actual time and effort to sharpen the axe to create the same level of performance as he had before. And if he wants to go better, yes, he has to either improve his axe completely, use different material for the metal or something, or at least he should create his axe very sharp and concentrate on that. So you always have to do something extra to even maintain your level of performance if it's a high performance level. So that's one. And the other one is we want people to experience literally what it is when people are not thinking courageously, when they are not helping the team to be better performing than they should be. And this exercise we call the stand-up from hell. It's you know, the setting is a stand-up setting from Scrum or from in the Kanban way of working, where you have a stand-up of 15 minutes. Everybody has to inform other people where they are working from, what they want to achieve today, to give the team the opportunity to have the best day possible. But people are not behaving as they should. And this exercise works as follows. We have lots of descriptions of all kinds of team members. And all these team members are doing something detrimental for the team. So either not listening, or interrupting all the time, or focusing on not important topics or whatever. And the exercise is about, okay, how first of all, can you recognize this behavior? Second, what should you do to prevent that behavior, or to get everybody online and going forward again? So that's what this exercise is about. And again, to be the person that handles such a team, you really have to be courageous, because it's really hell. This exercise is difficult. It's of course you know, overdone, but therefore very confrontational, and you can learn a lot from it. All right, so let's go to the next slide. In summary, what is courage about? First of all, how do you enable courage? Why is it important? Can you recognize courageous behavior? Can you stimulate courageous behavior? How can we actually explicitly stimulate critical thinking and let's other people giving feedback? Courageous behavior is important because we need feedback. We need other people to say whether it goes good or whether it goes bad. If nobody says anything, we don't know and we can't act. And then, of course, we do lots of exercises that have to do with courageous behavior and how it feels and how you can stimulate that. So that's the courage module. Let's go to the next one.
Yes, thank you, Theo. The fifth module of the DevOps practitioner is value, or mean the customer-centric action. Value, it's already talked about in all the other modules. For example, in the leadership module, Theo talked about focus on value, really focusing on what is the right value. Also with the leadership manifesto, you can create the intensive value you need for your customer. And this is why DevOps primarily focuses on the business performance, and it's therefore very important and one of the goals to satisfy all the customers by delivering maximum value. But maximum value, how to define what value really is. We will talk about that in much more detail later. We have 4 aspects that we discuss in this module. That will be what I just told you, the different aspects of value. What is it? How to define it? And also the stakeholder management, the power of story mapping, and how to combine the lean startup mindset with the DevOps principles. Let's start with the different aspects of value. What is value really about? How to define it? Sometimes it is not really clear what people mean with this is what the customer really wants. This is what the customer needs. But what do we mean with customer? Most of the time it will be talked about from the voice of the customer. But there is only one, and that is the customer, that defines the value of the service or the product. And to define it a little bit more what the customer is, we have different types of customers. So you can segmentate these wishes and these requirements in 4 different voices. We call them the different voices. First of all, you have the voice of the customer, which is really the end customer, and you can divide them into wishes and requirements. But that's not the only thing. There are also a voice of processes. You always have these processes you have to create and design that need to be optimized. So there are also requirements from the process that you need to take into account. So it's not only the requirements of the customer you need to prioritize, but also you have to listen to the people that work in the process and know the process steps so that you can improve them. Another voice is the voice of the business. Sometimes, or IT organization, that's how we call it. Sometimes you just need a higher version of something. So you need to take that into account as well. So take care that you have the requirements of the voice of the business. And the last one is called the voice of the regulator. You always have legal requirements. In different countries, you have different legal requirements, and especially if you are in a government organization, you will have to apply to these. So it's very important as well to take these into account and to have these 4 different types of requirements, 4 different voices that we call them, take them into account. And as a trainer, you can use this as well to elaborate more to the participants and trainees how does value really works. It's not only for one person, but it's about the customer, the process, the organization, and the legal requirements. So these 4 are really important to create value, and to create value in the end for the end customer. But all those 4 are important. And what I would like you to walk you through is one of the main exercises, one of the biggest exercises in this course. It's what you see on the screen, the second one. So first go back to the first one. It is map your stakeholders. That's one of the exercises we use in the value module. Like I just told you, the voice of the different voices, it's very important to know what are your who are your stakeholders, and only if you know who they are, you can think of the requirements they need. So that's why we put a exercise in that will map your stakeholders, and of course you can extend this exercise based on the audience you have in the room, in the course, but it's one of the exercises to show how to create value. Then we have the second exercise, and that's one of the biggest in this course, and it's also one of the most fun parts, as I believe. You can also play it a whole day, but that's not then we will need another week to complete this course. But the power of story mapping. Story mapping, you can use it to explain the trainees how prioritization works, and in the end, how to create really value. What do you really need to create? What do you really need to make to create value for the customer? And in this exercise, it's also really important that you show you need to create value right away. It doesn't make any sense to take too much time to create, in this sense, the mobile food finder app. If you take too many time to create anything, people will just are not interested anymore. So this is also an exercise to show that it's really good to have value already from the beginning. So that's what we call as well the walking skeleton. So you can, these are also aspects that are taught in the fundamentals training. So as you are experienced trainers, we believe that these items are already talked about in the previous training, but you can use it again to show what is the walking skeleton, how can I create value right away. And the second task of this exercise will be then to add more slices, to really start with the walking skeleton and then have more flesh on the bones, and also to make the skeleton run. As a third action, you can add the presentation of the story map, so that the participants also experience what is really important, and to experience also how to present to your customer what you created, or how to present to the organization what you created, and why is it important that you created this. There are so many aspects in this exercise. You can also use the other things that are mentioned in the modules and create this or take this into this exercise. And yeah, this is really practicing what you learned this far. And as a fourth option, you can also create we call it a plot twist, to be the real CIO walking in saying, no, I don't want to have the food app, I just wanted to have a diet app. And then, yeah, how does the team react on that? That's also one of the things you can use in this exercise. And be aware that this is also one of the exercises that you as a trainer need to prepare. It's not a big preparation. You need to take into account that you have to print some things, you have to prepare the room, or you have to know what it is all about. So please be aware that you read this up front and that you know how to create this exercise, because I believe that this is one of the exercises where it all comes together and that you can just have a real practical experience on how DevOps really works.
Right.
Then, to summarize the module value, it is first of all identifying what is value really about, and for who do you deliver value. It all starts with why are we making this, and why are we making our products and services? Who is the customer? And the customer can be in this way four different voices: the business, the process, the customer, and the legal requirements. Also, the difference between requirements and wishes is part of this module, and as well as I said, the big exercise that all puts it together and have the real practice you really need. Then let's move to continuous improvement. Continuous improvement, yeah, it's one of the main important aspects of DevOps, but also it's about lean. It's you can achieve. So this module, it is about the continuous improvement, Kaizen mindset, the quality at the source, first time right. All these lean principles are also important in a DevOps way of working. And let me see the different exercises as well in this module. First of all, we go to build flow. Flow is one of the main aspects you need. And I always try to use stop starting and start stopping. So what I mean with that is just do one thing at a time, or not too much things. Because we all know that we have a to-do list of so many things that we don't even know where to start. So stop starting things and just start finishing your things you have in your on your mind. And if we all do that, we can build optimal flow. It's like the metaphor of the spotlight. Only focus on the thing that the light shines on. You cannot see the performance on stage that do not have the light on them. So just only focus on the thing that really matters, and that's the one thing you're doing. And I'm always very happy when I become in flow. It's like I'm doing the thing I love, and then time will fly, and time will fly if you have fun. So really focus on the right thing. And I believe when organizations focus on the thing that is really important, then they will just become high-performing organizations. It's just very important to focus on the right thing and on one thing at a time. Then, if I go to the exercises of this module, the continuous improvement module, there are a lot as well. First of all, multitasking and one-piece flow. It's about showing the participants that it just goes smoother if you have one-piece flow. Multitasking, we're just not born to do multitasking. Even I'm a woman, but no, I cannot do many things at a time. And this is a real great small exercise, but it shows really the essence of what it's all about. I even had someone in the course that said, "Oh, I really love to have my boss in this training, and just to have this 5-minute exercise that he really can see that when I pretend that I'm doing a lot of things, in the end I do nothing or less. So one piece flow, that's what it's all about, and this is also an exercise that shows that.
Yes, people, do try this at home because it works. I do it with my wife and my children almost every weekend. It works perfectly.
Yes. Then we have 2 other exercises that are based on the lean principles: optimizing process lead time and visualize a flow game. So you will have different exercises, and you can choose whether to extend them or just to make them a bit shorter to show all the continuous improvement aspects. What I also like is the experience the Kaizen mindset. It's about the picture as well, as you see on the right of the slide. It's about marshmallows and spaghetti, and it can show how you can implement the continuous improvement mindset. You will start with building, and you will improve and improve and improve. So this is what you can use during the training. And as I read somewhere, is that children are much better at this exercise than the world top 10 CIOs. They will make a higher tower and a higher the higher tower of the spaghetti and the marshmallows. So that will be a fun thing to use as well.
Please bear in mind, if you want to do this exercise, you actually need the ingredients, right? You need spaghetti, and you need marshmallows, and maybe some tape to do the building. So check what you need in this exercise, and be prepared.
Yes, and you can also use if you have you can also use straws and tape, but yes, you need to be prepared if you want to take this with you. But in the instructor notes, everything is explained how to use this game. Then back to the continuous improvement mindset. It's always important to keep in mind that you have to improve. If you don't take any time to improve, you will end up like the bicycle at the right side, not moving forward. So if you always say no time, I'm too busy, you don't get anywhere. So it really, as a trainer, to keep in mind that to teach the people that you really, it's not. It's good to have time to improve. It is not a waste of time. It's like maybe it was said 20 years ago, 10 years ago. You don't have any time. You just have to perform. But it is really one of the principles of DevOps and Lean and Agile as well. Take time to improve, take time to invest in this, and only then you will become better and will become the high-performing organization. And only then, it is not only for the teams, but it's also for you as a person, for you as a skill. You need to improve on your skills. You need to become better. Also, the T-shaped principle, what Theo told you in the beginning, it's very important to take time and to learn. So this is very important to keep the continuous improvement mindset.
Right, and then we are coming to the last set of topics in this module and also in the course. It's the practical tools that you can use to improve and to ensure continuous improvement are happening. Now, many of these have been touched upon or even explained in the fundamentals course as well. So this is part reiteration, revisiting these same subjects, and you could even swap the Stand Up From Hell exercise to this module instead of doing it in the Courage module, because otherwise this part of the course won't have any exercises at all. And the reason for this is that actually all of these topics are much better learned or much better appreciated when they are in an actual context. For example, we would have loved to put in a value stream mapping exercise into this course, but a really value stream, a realistic value stream mapping workshop takes 2 hours or more, so that wouldn't have fit into this course. So we again explain how things work. We again explain the Kaizen event, the structured problem solving event, where you define your problem, where you measure facts or provide facts, where you analyze what's happening, what are causes, what is the root cause, what are the relationships between the facts and the problem, where you improve upon the situation by thinking of solutions and implementing solutions of the problem, and then see whether this solution works or not, and act on that result as well. So in short, the DMAIC cycle, the DMAIC cycle, that's explained upon in the Kaizen event part. Then, of course, value stream mapping again. I think value stream mapping is a very, very important tool, because it actually specifically focuses on how can we create value better, faster, and with higher quality. So this tool, you should really know it. You should really understand how it works, and it also is, in the exam questions, you could definitely expect questions from this topic. Then visual management is more like, maybe not a tool, but is in general a set of tools which are very important to create the right environment in a DevOps way. So we want to prevent all kinds of precious time used for reporting, for giving status reports, for updating each other. But if we can do this automatically and within the process by just providing visual feedback on what is happening every single time, then reporting goes smoothly and completely by itself. You need to invest something to get a really good visual management system. As you said, you have to set up dashboards, you have to set up, you have to make agreements upon how shall we actually visualize some kind of improvement of what KPIs should we measure, how should we visualize them, etc., etc. But if you have done this, then status reports are automatic and don't take almost no time at all. Now, one of the other aspects of the modern way of working is you always have to do regular evaluation sessions, what's called the retrospective here. You have to look back, not only on the process but also on the product. So what did we deliver? Can we improve on what we delivered, and can we improve on how we delivered it? We will again explain the structure of a retrospective, and why it is important, etc., etc. And please instill in everybody the knowledge that if you do anything, you have to do retrospectives. This is the core of getting feedback from the process. This is the core of continuous improvement, and therefore the core of DevOps. If we don't continuously improve, then we are stuck. We are not agile. We are not in the competitive market that we want to be in. Then the daily stand-up. I mentioned it before. It's a very small tool which you do daily, but still, even on the very small time scale of a day, we want to create an ideal day every single time. Because if we have an ideal day every single time, we will have the highest performance in that day every single time, which is which sums up, which results in happy people, in a nice feeling when you go home, and the better mindset to do the next day the same or even better. So that's all very stimulating and motivating. And then, of course, on the mindset, on the attitude side, you always should have critical questions. So why are we doing this the way we are doing it now? Can we do it better? Can we do it differently? Can we think of something else to do? Can we shorten a step? You know, and don't ask this one time, but really drill into a problem before you say, okay, I understand it and we know how to do this. So these are all tools that we will talk about, which we will ask the people to think about. But unfortunately, we won't have, you know, the actual exercises, but we can emphasize people. There are books about these subjects. Practice it in your own context. Use these tools because they are very, very important for continuous improvement, and that's what we really need to have. So, in summary, continuous improvement is about creating flow. It's about creating a smoothly running machine, a smoothly running system, a smoothly running organization. And as Gwendolyn said, I hope some of you have experienced flow by themselves, because if you have, then you know that somehow you get things done where it feels that it doesn't need effort, almost nothing. So you're doing stuff, you even forget yourself sometimes, and then after you're finished, you have done an enormous amount of work, and it feels that it didn't take any effort at all. It's amazing. So if you have experienced it, it's a really nice place to be in, and we want to not only emphasize it or help that happen with individuals, but also in teams and also in organizations. So really the smoothly flowing process that delivers the most value as possible. We are doing some exercises about that, how you can stimulate and how you can analyze it. And then in the end, we discussed the various tools that you can use for continuous improvement, which is very important, of course, to get to flow. Right.
Okay, so thank you for that, Gwendolyn and Theo, and taking us through. But we want to launch a poll because we're really interested in understanding from all of you, which of the skills modules do you think will be a challenge to teach? Is it the team building module? The DevOps leadership module? What about courage? How important is courage? How about the value customer centric action? Or is it continuous improvement? Okay, I see a lot of you have voted. I'm going to give you one more second. If you haven't, get your vote in. And let's share the results. Take a look, Theo. Take a look, Gwendolyn. Courage, 80% of the team. The other 20%, continuous improvement. Your thoughts?
All right, so this is even more specific than the webinar this morning, but a bit in line of that. So I must say, when we started writing this course, I had lots of trouble with, okay, how will we in heaven's name talk about courage so many hours, you know, so much. How can we get stuff on courage? This is a subject which is maybe not as tangible as the other ones, yeah, maybe we even should leave it out or something like that. But when we talked about it, there are a lot of things to say about courage, and I wouldn't worry too much about, you know, theoretical content or exactness of what you're saying, but more like we know that courageous behavior is sometimes needed. Everybody has experienced this. And we also know that if we don't speak up, that some things are not going to happen that should happen. And my advice to teachers would be, okay, try to read about these subjects as much as you can and as you want, because there's lots of literature about leadership and also about courageous behavior. But on the other hand, you stick to your own experience, because then you can be authentic, then you can really explain from examples that you really know in depth, and that will help the people that you are telling about them to understand what you're talking about. The important thing is we need to speak up. That's one thing, and we need an environment that actually stimulates people to speak up. And we got a question from another person who said, okay, but I am just, a team member, and I am not in a safe environment. So how can I possibly help other people to be courageous when this is actually, my environment doesn't stimulate this at all? But then in practice, you can say, okay, if we don't speak up, we will not solve some or maybe many problems that can be solved and can give higher results and better results if we would have solved them. So those practical arguments are usable for almost any person that you speak with, with your boss or your manager or your colleagues. You can keep your arguments impersonal, but work because you want the actual factual results. You can talk about personal things, personal attitude and personal behavior to get those actual results, and that argument can help to bring across the importance of courage and the more softy topics that we talked about mainly in leadership and courage, but they actually do give results. So it's not as softy as they seem.
Okay, and what about the aspects of continuous improvement?
Yeah, I don't know why the people thought this was difficult. In my experience, the most difficult thing is to get people to really believe, really see that you need to take time for this. So not taking time for improvement is actually going backwards. And I've seen so many examples of this that I'm not only a firm believer, but I know this is true. But I also know that lots of people actually don't believe this. And they believe, okay, we should work hard, and if we work hard, we will achieve the things that we planned and that we want to achieve. But don't forget, people, if you don't improve, other people around you will improve, will invent new things, will change the way of working. And if you don't change with them, you will lag behind. You will not be in the front anymore, and you will slowly lose the competition.
And I think that plays very much into the new IT way of working, in terms of continually improving, delighting your customers, finding ways to bring them value without them having to ask for it. I want to thank you for sharing in that poll, and I'm going to get us back to the presentation where the team can talk a little bit about exam and course delivery information.
Right. So I don't have, yeah, right. So as we said before, so all of these topics we have put into a 2-day course, and the course you can finish the course with an exam, which will give you the practitioner certificate if you pass the exam, of course. Now this exam is a closed book exam, so you can't have any notes with you, or you can't have the book with you, and this will be checked by a person called a proctor. So someone who is there who will check, okay, you're really making the exam without notes and without books. The exam is not a very long exam in terms of a number of questions. There are 12 questions, all multiple choice, one answer exactly. The duration will be 45 minutes for native English speakers and 60 minutes for non-native English speakers, so 15 minutes extra. And you have to pass 60% of all the questions to pass. And if you want to be a trainer, you have to pass 70%, so 10% more. It is really helpful not only to know about the fundamentals training content, but you also have to have passed the fundamentals course first, because you can be eligible for this exam. So if you look at the next slide, in summary, the exam, it's you can do it online or on paper. It's closed book. You will be checked. 45 minutes native speakers, 60 minutes non-native speakers, 12 multiple choice question, one answer exactly only, and you have to pass 60% as a trainee or 70% as a trainer. And an advice to you all, in my experience, the fundamentals exam wasn't easy, but this exam is definitely more difficult than the fundamentals exam. Not only because it goes beyond knowledge and reproduction. It also has interpretation. You really have to understand what you're doing, and you have to interpret situations and give calculated, really knowledgeable answers to get to the right answer. If you are in doubt of the answer, try to find a rational way of thinking, a rationale for, okay, why would this answer be better than another one? Think of reasons why this should be. We have talked about these questions a lot, and we really have made it very explicit why some questions were right and other questions were wrong. So try to find this reasoning, and you will be doing fine in this exam. And moreover, for example, of course, the course materials, you will really, it's a lot of material, 100+ pages. Really study them carefully. If you are doing the training, pay attention. Really know what you're talking about. Try to understand, because your understanding will be tested, and then you will be doing fine. So prepare, and the exam will be yours. Talking about the training itself, we recommend 6 to 16 students, hopefully a little bit less than 16, because that's a lot. It's possible, but I think it's a lot, certainly with this amount of knowledge to transfer. Of course, you need a beamer and a flip chart or whiteboard. It's DevOps, so you need post-its. To go back to fun, DevOps is fun with stickies. So take your stickies with you and your colored markers, and be creative and interactive. For the room setup, you can do a standard classroom, but I think a U-shape would be better, because that creates a more like, a team environment, a cooperating environment, and it will better reflect the goals of this course. And don't forget to print the game materials, and if you want to do the continuous improvement games, there are 2 of them that need extra materials. Read the instructor notes and take them with you. Otherwise, you can't do this game in the proper way. Then there are actually 3 exams. One of them is downloadable from the website of DASA. And this mock exam, which you see in the slides, is really representative of the other exams that are there. So if you pass the mock exam, if you're doing the mock exam and you pass, then you have a high chance of passing the real exam as well. The questions are about the same topics. They are related. They have the same difficulty level. So it's really relatable to each other. Yeah, for the rest it's so, and to finish things off, think about what you want to achieve, which is, of course, the high-performance IT organization. I hope you will do really well, not only in your training, but also in the rest of your life. And I wish you all good luck and much of success.
Well, thank you, Theo. I wanted to kind of ask you and Gwendolyn before we close out and see if our audience has some questions. Can you share some relevant tips and tricks in the delivery that you found helpful to make the course successful?
Yes, of course, Deborah. I believe that most of you are experienced trainers. So what we would like to share is our own experience with the DevOps fundamentals training. It is really about about getting the trainees the knowledge, but then not only the knowledge, it's also the focus on the exercises. So if you see in this DevOps Practitioner, the best way or the tip will be to build the module around the exercises. So as a trainer, please be aware of the exercises and read them beforehand so that you know how you can build up the module. It's really about the practical, the practical exercise for the trainees. So be aware how to use these exercises to give all the information that is in the modules. That will bring me also to the tip to read the instructions and print out the materials. So know how the classroom will look like and what kind of materials you need to bring. Most exercises can be done with just only the beamer, but some of them need to have a printout or to bring some tape and everything. So please be aware and read it beforehand. You have all the materials necessary and to focus on these exercises to deliver the course.
Yeah, and also think about the two aspects of every exercise. So there is a content aspect and a behavior aspect, and you can focus at will on more on the one aspect or the other. But, think about what your trainees need, and the ultimate goal is to get them more aware and more experienced in the actual DevOps way of working. That's the whole goal of this course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for that. And I just want to say that having the opportunity to sit through this with both of you today and getting these insights on the best way to deliver the courses as well as the exercises and helping the team get prepared is truly appreciated. I did have a couple of questions, and one was there a recording for this session? And the answer is yes. We have recorded this session. You will be getting a copy of this recording, as well as the second question is as well as a copy of the slide set. So do expect that to come your way. We probably need a day or so to do the processing and get it together, but you will be receiving that. I also had a couple of comments for both you, Theo, and Gwendolyn. A couple people said that they had to leave a little early. They were sorry, but they wanted to thank you for the TTT. They felt it was excellent and that the course will fit the market. Well done. So I wanted to share that along. At this
Thank you all.
Yep. At this time, I'm not seeing any other questions. So I'm hoping that all of you that have spent this journey with us this afternoon, morning for some of you, that this has been a good use of your time. After we close the webinar, there will be a short survey, and I can't tell you how much we would appreciate it if you take a moment to give us some feedback on how we can improve these. Again, our objective is to try to equip you with as much knowledge and information and answer the questions that you need so that you can successfully go out and deliver Practitioner to your clients. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. Most of you know how to reach me. For some of you that have additional questions, don't hesitate to go back to your DASA courseware partner. For those of you working with ITpreneurs, it's partner@itpreneurs.com. And for those of you working with Quint Wellington Redwood, it's quint@quintgroup.com. And they also are in a position to help you get started and get ready for DASA DevOps Practitioner. So again, let me thank each and every one of you for this time. Gwendolyn and Theo, it is always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Thank you both so much. As more questions come, I'll certainly send them your way. And we'll probably be asking you to come back and talk to the team again in the near future. So all of you, yep.
All right, thank you, Deborah, and we really enjoyed this, you know, it was quite a journey to create all this stuff. But when you look at it, you know, I think it's really useful, and I hope it's really useful for all the other trainees as well.
I hope so. I believe so. Not only I hope so, I believe so. More than close to 90 slides that you delivered in less than 2.5 hours is quite the feat, and very well done. So everyone, thank you so much. And as you know, I always love to say, go DASA. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.